up out the way, don't get your shit splat. Stop, let this shit slide and get your lick back. And get your lick back. Get your lick back. If a nigga owe you something, ain't no chit chat. Better stay up out the way, don't get your shit splat. Stop, let this shit slide and get your lick back. And get your lick back. I feel like I'm JX.
J-Way.
I'm a perfectionist. Adderall got me restless.
I'm gone.
Run with a wild crew, they get reckless. Young boy, come up off that neck into the trends. See a lead, be the band.
Welcome to Bleachers and Speakers. I'm your host, June, and we are here with the, what is this? Who will be kings? Our NFC North Division show. I'm sorry. It's kind of crazy around here. Tigers are in the playoffs, so, you know, kind of not in the loop, but I'll let my co-host introduce themselves. We are short of co-host today, but he will be on. Just had a slight issue with his power. He's down there in the south, so you know what's going on with those storms. And we're sending out prayers for all of those who are being affected by the hurricanes and the tornadoes and all that bad stuff that's happening down there. May God be with them. But Dave, introduce yourself to the people. Let them know where they can find you.
Hey, everybody. I'm Dave Stefano. I am the executive producer of Vikings First and Skol. You can find us at Vikings First and Skol on YouTube, on Facebook, on Fans First Sports Network, and on your favorite podcast aggregator.
B. Foster, introduce yourself to the people.
B. Foster, one half of Bleachers and Speakers, post-game podcast and Corner to Copa. Subscribe on all of those channels. Subscribe to Bleachers and Speakers to get visuals on all those channels, as well as our audio aggregators. And city on fire right now, man.
In case you've been sleeping or been under a rock, Foster, what is this Corner to Copa thing that you're talking about?
Well, you know, this is the inception of our baseball Detroit Tigers channel was this year, and it's been a fun ride. So if you haven't tuned in yet, please get in tune, because there's history being made right now, and hopefully some more.
So for those who don't know, the Tigers have had a 10-year drought of making the playoffs. They hadn't made the playoffs since 2014, and Foster and his co-host Coach started covering baseball, and what do you know? So they can't never quit. Just going to put that out there. They're going to cover the Tigers forever, because we cannot go that long without a playoff or wild card appearance. So, gentlemen, I want to thank you for coming today. Thank you for being here. We got a pretty dope show as usual. We want to talk about what happened last week. Me and Foster don't have anything to say about the Lions because we were on a bye week. Unless there's any news that Foster can think of. But Dave, your Minnesota Vikings have improved to 5-0. And I hate that you guys had to play in London. I do not like when the teams have to go overseas mid-season and play. And you guys went over there, come back with a 5-0 record. Tell us what happened in that game.
Well, what happened is the Minnesota Vikings went out to a 17-0 lead, continuing their streak of going out and establishing a big lead. They allowed the Jets to come back a little bit, but they ended up winning 23-17, obviously, to remain undefeated on the season. And it was a good game. Andrew Van Ginkel, our one of the edges we signed in the offseason, free agent-wise, had his second pick six of this season alone. Totally confused.
That's crazy.
Aaron Rodgers didn't know he was going to be there. It was the obviously my dog Merlin is very vocal about it, but Brian Flores gets into everybody up on the line, 7 or 8 guys up on the line. And he confuses quarterbacks because people aren't used to that. Who's coming? Who's going? Is everybody blitzing? Is nobody blitzing? Who's falling out? All this sort of stuff. And Van Ginkel on the play, there were 7 guys up on the line. Van Ginkel was one of them. He was lined up on the outside of the guard. And he took a step towards the guard like he was rushing. And then he dropped back into the passing lane. And Aaron didn't know he was there. Threw it direct to him, caught it, ran down the sidelines for 63 yards, touchdown. Minnesota went up and took the early lead. Then we have our kicker, rookie kicker out of Alabama, Mr. Will the Thrill Reichard, had not missed a kick since last summer. He banged 3 through, 47-yarder, 53-yarder, and a 51, I think it was. Mm-hmm. Just money during the day. Now, and the defense messed with the Jets whole first half, the whole works. Sam Darnold managed the game effectively. He did have a pick. He wasn't on top of his game, but still pulled it out. It wasn't his best game. Justin Jefferson only had 92 yards, mostly to DJ Reed of the Jets, who played easily as well as Sauce Gardner did. And Sauce Gardner was in at the beginning and then got checked for a concussion, was out for a bit, and then came back in. But it was just one of those games where the Vikings, especially on the offense, didn't play as well as I'd hoped, but it didn't matter. They'd already, ran up the lead, and they were just defending it at that point, and it was balls out. There's not a team in the league that seems to be able to come back from when the Minnesota Vikings go ahead. And we have led all but 3 minutes and 26 seconds of this season.
Wow.
And that first 3 minutes and 26 seconds was against the Giants when CJ Ham fumbled the ball and right near within the 10 in the red zone, and they took it in. But other than that, we've led the whole way. And if you go back all the way back to the merger, there have been 4 teams ahead of us that had led less time. All of them went to the Super Bowl. And then one team behind us with a little bit more time, and that was the Broncos, and they went to the Super Bowl. So I'm not saying we're going to the Super Bowl, but everything looks that way as of now. But when you talk about 5-0 teams, you go back to 2000, I think it is.
Mm-hmm.
All the 5-0 teams go to the playoffs except for 2.
Okay.
One of those being the Minnesota Vikings in 2016. Now, are we anywhere near what we were in 2016? Not even close. We're a much, much better team in 2024 than we were in 2016. 2016, we had a kick-ass offense or defense. It was a Zimmer defense. It was great. But 2016, if you remember, was when Teddy blew his knee and preseason, and then we got Sam Darnold, and then the offensive line became a mash unit, and we were running third stringers by the end of the half of the year and pulling guys out of retirement.
You said Sam Darnold.
Yeah, you didn't mean that. I don't think.
Sam Bradford. Pardon.
Okay.
Oh,
they look alike sometimes. That's a common mistake. Sam and Sam.
Sam actually got hurt that year at the end of the year, right? Because he was doing good for majority of the year, and he got hurt near the end, and then his knees, and then he came back the next year. We whooped up on New Orleans the first game. He looked fantastic, and then he was done. Yeah.
Degenerative knee condition. And it's a shame because he was probably one of the best quarterbacks we would have ever had. But
Heisman out of Oklahoma.
Mm-hmm. He was
very good.
Last of the pre-rookie scale draftees. He made $50 million being
Yeah.
drafted number 1.
Yeah. Just those knee injuries for him.
Yeah, he was down to bone on bone and he couldn't do it.
Yeah. I was going to jump into the Chicago Bears and Green Bay, but I guess we can talk Green Bay, and hopefully by the time we're done with Green Bay, Pay is here. If not, we'll talk about some Detroit Lions news after Green Bay if there's any to discuss. I haven't seen anything, but did you guys happen to pay attention or watch the Green Bay game?
Mm-hmm.
Now, Green Bay played the Rams, correct?
Correct.
Okay. I didn't see the game. I just saw the score at the end.
You didn't see the game. The games were lined up one after another all day long.
The wife gave me a list of honeydews. The Lions weren't playing, so it was in her mind. It's
honeydew weekend. Yeah, I got that.
Can you do this? Can you do this? Can you do this? Can we
circle
do
it on the calendar? Like, okay, I'm about to
bye week. I got him. It's bye week, so I didn't get a chance to watch much football.
When I was married, I got the same thing on bye week.
So,
I did watch it, and the Rams played. They were in their blue tops, yellow numbers, but their dirty laundry beige pants with the white stripes, and unfortunately, they look beat up and in disarray. And the Packers, even though Jordan Love threw his first pick 6 of his career,
great,
which you can only think has been effectively a year and a half, right? Because he sat so long on the bench. First pick 6, Love went on to complete 15 out of 26 for 224 yards, including a pair of touchdown passes to Tucker Kraft. It was what it was. Tucker Kraft had a good game for the Packers. Josh Jacobs got his first running touchdown on a 2-yard run. It wasn't a great game to watch. I mean, there was you're not looking at high-end teams battling each other like what'll happen in week 7. But it is what it is. You know, I was hoping that the Packers would lose, as I'm assuming everybody else was, but Matthew Stafford doesn't look, it looks like the age has caught up with him finally, put it that way. He does not look as sharp as he used to be, but the Rams are dealing with a ton of injuries.
Yeah. I think that's more so the case than, I mean, granted, Stafford is getting has gotten a little older, but with without your weapons, he's because against the Lions he looked pretty awesome. In the second and third, no, I want to say third quarter. He had a third quarter where he was amazing. And just bought every possession. Now
Stafford threw a late touchdown and it made it 24-19 was the final score.
Mm-hmm.
But it really wasn't that close even then.
Yeah. So yeah, it is what it is with Stafford, and I mean he's getting towards the end of his career, and I think for him to be effective, he needs his full set of weapons in the cabinet. Just can't do it. Sir, you had your quarterbacks like Aaron Rodgers back in the day. It didn't matter who was that wide receiver. He was just going, for Green Bay, he was just going to. He made stars at the wide receiver. Like what was his name? Lazard. Mm-hmm. 1 year.
Lazard.
Yeah.
He's with them in
He's
New
with
York
the Jets now, but he made him look like he was just a very dominant receiver. It was crazy. Let's take a quick break and we'll get back, and then we'll talk about some Lion stuff, and then I want to get into a topic that I thought about with our division being so tough. I mean, we want to answer the question.
The only one where every team is above 500.
Want to see. outside of ours, who has the toughest division? Because I think from a bias and record standpoint, we're going to say the NFC North is the tough division, but we're going to not look at our division outside of who has the toughest division. So let's take a quick break and we'll get back and we'll get into that. Oh, where it is, golly.
Get your lick back. If a nugget gon' do something, ain't no chit chat. Better stay up out the way, don't get your shit splat. Stop letting shit slide and get your lick back. And get your lick back.
All right. Foster, do we have any Detroit Lions news? Anything you'd like to discuss?
News?
We had a bye week, so there's not really much to talk about as far as game activity.
What about injuries?
Yeah, I was going to speak on the injuries. Yeah, basically, obviously we have some guys that are already on the IR, so there's not much to speak about there. But Brian Branch, Ragnow, and Mahogany have all returned to practice.
Okay.
So outside of that, everybody that I think Ennis Rackstraw posted something about possibly needing surgery. I didn't look into it too much, but I know he's been out with a hamstring injury for the last couple of weeks. So, yeah. And then I don't know if we talked about Iffy going on the IR, but
yeah, we talked about that.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
But as far as outside of that, we've just been resting, and everybody that was nursing some injuries has been able to, take that week to get themselves together. So.
One thing I noticed, Foster, the last game that we played, Frank Ragnow didn't play, and we moved Glasgow to center. The guard that took his place did a great job at his position. I forgot his name, but he did a very good job at right guard.
Glasgow?
No, Glasgow moved over to center.
Oh, the other.
It was the other guard.
Oh, the one that. Okay, I see what you're saying.
Yeah, so I think the Lions have done a great job with their depth as far as the offensive line because, like I said, Ragnow has a partially torn pec, and he definitely wasn't going to play the last game, and he's had a bad week. If he's can't be 100% versus Dallas, I don't see him playing again, but he's a tough guy. So
Zeitler or Wasaka,
whatever his name is. Zeitler is a starter. He's on the other side. So yeah, he's the free agent acquisition that they brought in because we lost one. So he's the other guard. He's the veteran guard that we brought in. But the other guy that, he's a backup for sure. And what they did was when center Ragnow went down, they just moved Glasgow over to center, and they played the backup at guard. And he did a great job.
Good. Speaking of injuries.
Okay, who you got?
We got Aaron Jones got a hip injury during the game, and along with Powell, a wide receiver, but Powell got hit in the ribs and sounds like a rib injury. Heck, even Sam Bradford is rumored to have a rib injury. He got hit early and didn't play well. Darnold. See, I get him mixed up.
You want Bradford back really bad.
Yeah, I guess so.
But Sam Darnold had a rib injury, or it seems to be possibly, it's not been confirmed. Now, Aaron Jones did have a hip injury. They did do an MRI when they got back to the cities on late Monday, and he's week to week.
You got a bye week, though, right?
Yes.
Yeah, it's a good time for it. Good time for it. Good time.
As long as he's ready by week 7.
Yeah.
That's what I care about.
Yeah. Yeah. Gotta, it's anytime you have a little nicks and bruises and stuff like that, and the bye week comes, it's almost like they're back to 100% over that next week. So it's always good. I want to talk about the Bears game. And once again, that's something that I didn't see at all. But hey, I refuse to watch the Bears. I'm sorry. I refuse to watch the Bears, but it is what it is.
Well, they played the Panthers, and Carolina is not. They're hurting as well.
Mm-hmm.
And hey, it made the Bears. Caleb
Well,
Williams.
Pay
looked good.
mentioned if they don't win by at least 10, it was going to be some problems, but it was a blowout win. It was I think they won by like 20 or something like that.
36-10 was the final score.
Yeah. So it was Pay knew what he was talking about when he said they better win by 10. Carolina is not in a very good space as far as being a good ball club, but they got some issues over there. I saw at the end of the game where they put Bryce back in.
Okay.
And I said, okay, this is not good. This is not good. But Bryce is back. I don't know if he's a starter. I think maybe they wanted to get him some reps, but Carolina they're going to wind up with the number 1 pick again.
Mm-hmm.
They're going to wind up with the number 1 pick again.
Now, what I find interesting is that the Bears are on I think it's 8-game home game win streak.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
That's fun for them.
Okay. Just lets me know it's going to end soon.
Well, that's playing at Soldier Field. Their away games in 2 seasons, they've only won 2 on the away.
Do they have a bye week this week?
No,
Bears?
they're scheduled to play.
Who they playing?
They are scheduled to play Arizona. No, that's Green Bay. They're scheduled to play Jacksonville.
Jacksonville just won the other day too. They won
in Chicago. No,
Yeah.
pardon me. Chicago's the home team. It's in London.
I hate that though. I do not like these mid games overseas.
It's hey, they're gonna play at Tottenham just like we did. Maybe they'll have to deal with the English sunshine, as I used to call it when I was stationed over there. It's misty, rainy, cold, blah.
Yeah.
And it made for a slick field and slick conditions. Even though it's a NFL turf that they install, and it's a new one, it's slick. New turfs are generally slick to start off with. Add a little misty rain on top of that, and it gets real slick. We had one of our guards do the splits at Ingram during a play because just slid right out. But it's a problem. But they're going to be playing at 8:30 in the morning on Sunday.
And well, the bright side of that though, we get football like when you wake up, football's on until it's time to go to bed. Like you get a game at 9:00 in the morning, Eastern time. And what is it 9 or 8? Which one? What time did y'all play?
It's 9:30 Eastern.
Yeah. So you get football from 9:30 till 12:30 here, and then you have another kickoff at 1. So you get football all day long. That's the only good thing about it.
And last Sunday, because of the rain delay in Pittsburgh, it became the longest day of football in NFL history.
Mm-hmm.
Starting with the Vikings at 8:30 Central, and it ended because the rain delay. I shouldn't say rain, lightning delay in Pittsburgh.
About midnight.
Yeah, it was after midnight when it ended.
Yeah. Yeah, because I was surprised the game was still on because I checked the score. And they were still playing.
They said Dak is the only quarterback that's ever thrown an interception on 2 different days in one game.
Well, I just hope he throws a lot of interceptions this Sunday coming up.
Just pack it all into one day.
Let's get into that.
Yeah.
All right, we got week 6 coming up.
Yeah.
You guys are the 3rd game of the division, right? We just talked about Chicago takes Jacksonville in the wee hours of the morning. What about Detroit at Dallas?
I don't know the line for that game. I do not know the line.
Detroit's favored by 3.
Yeah, I would imagine that we are favored, because Dallas hasn't been playing consistently well at all. And they seem to always have our number, though. They seem to play pretty good. Dak has had some great games versus us.
Over and under 51.5.
Yeah.
So they expect at least a decent scoring game.
Yeah. One thing I noticed about the Dallas defense has been totally inconsistent this year. They'll have a great the very first game, they had a great first game, and then they gave up 50 points versus New Orleans.
Yeah, and they got a lot of people hurt, and they're playing a bunch of rookies now.
Yeah. Great.
But they ended up beating the Steelers.
Yeah, they won I think I have my reservations about the Steelers.
And Fields didn't play well.
Yeah. They're still trying to figure stuff out there. But they've been winning though. They've been getting along, they've been getting by, they've been winning.
Yeah.
Pittsburgh.
Yeah, I honestly I feel really good going into this game. We went into the bye week with a strong effort offensively. We scored 41 points against another team that had our number. Yeah, I mean, outside of that, like you said, the Cowboys have been inconsistent, especially. I mean, they've been able to hang their hat on their defense all year. I mean, in recent history, and the running game. But that's two things that has kind of let them down this year. They haven't got to the quarterback as well as they usually have. Michael Parsons has had a quiet year thus far. I think he's got 1.5 sacks right now. And they don't have a running attack. They're second in the league in passing, but they're also 31st in rushing. The Zeke Elliott's back. He's only averaging 3 yards a carry. And they got a young running back with the last name Dowdle, who is their lead running back right now. He has 0 touchdowns. But I think the key for us is going to be getting to the quarterback, because it's pretty obvious that they're going to. Granted, we struggled against Kenneth Walker. He had 3 touchdowns in our last game. He was one of their strong points, especially to the outside. With our linebacker, our linebacking core has been kind of banged up. Derek Barnes is injured right now, but right. I think the key is going to be getting to Dak Prescott. The Cowboys do a pretty good job of protecting him, but the Lions had 3 sacks last week. Malcolm Rodriguez had a sack. I want to say Reeder had a sack. Anzarike. Hutch actually didn't have a sack last game, but overall, we've done a decent job getting to the quarterback. Sometimes having recorded sacks doesn't mean that we're getting consistent pressure. I still think that our opposite edge rusher to Hutch is going to have to step up, which is going to be a by committee effort, I would assume, with Pascal, Houston, and
Houston.
Yeah. Pascal, Houston, and I can't think of who else is. Oh, well, Wingo as well.
Yeah,
so,
moving outside.
But it's pretty obvious they're going to be putting the ball in the air quite a bit, just because they struggle running the ball, and we're pretty strong against the run anyways. But, as far as what I've seen from Cowboys thus far this year, they, have pretty much beat the teams they were supposed to beat. The Steelers, Giants, Browns have been pretty bad this year. They lost a close game to Baltimore, and they got absolutely just patched by the Saints at home in Dallas. Although they're usually pretty, they're usually pretty good at home. So, but I mean, you gave Ben Johnson a full week of scheming. Gibbs had a great game, had 2 touchdowns. Montgomery had a decent game running, but had a crazy screen pass run against the Seahawks. And then Amon-Ra St. Brown not only caught a touchdown, he threw a touchdown to Jared Goff, and J-Mo got going as well. So the offense is clicking on all cylinders. Sam Laporta is getting back to his normal self. And the Lions have not had a single, not to jinx them, they have not had a single drop pass this entire year.
Oh, great, Foster.
I gotta say it. I mean, it is what it is. It was gonna happen eventually.
You could have
But
brought there.
you know, shout out to Josh Reynolds' replacement, Tim Patrick. He's getting more and more comfortable every week of action, and you just never know. We still have just a litany of weapons that the Cowboys have to account for. And like Dave said, they have a lot of injuries, especially on their defensive line. They got 3 different guys, Lawrence, Phillips, and Johnson, who are all injured. And Deron Bland actually did practice the last few days or yesterday, but he's been nursing an injury as well. And he's their opposite corner to Trayvon Diggs. Trayvon Diggs is a corner, right? Was he?
Yes.
Yeah. So yeah, Deron Bland, he had a really good year or he had a lot of interceptions last year. I think he was getting torched a little bit too, but
read coach's comment when you get a chance.
Yeah. Foster said, our coach said, Foster's annual conundrum: Dallas versus Detroit. Dallas has always been one of my teams. It dates back to Thanksgiving. Being able to watch them, and I was a pretty big fan of Emmitt Smith, read the biography and all that. And my boy Sellis in the building, he says, "I trust B. Foster." That's a slogan.
Hey, Sellis,
by the Tigers though. It started with the Tigers.
Sellis, don't get used to that, man. Don't trust him, man. Don't trust him. Coach also says Dallas is 11th with 194 yards a game versus the pass. Detroit 27. Hey, Coach, man, look here.
Coach is an Eagles fan. You got to remember that.
Coach, hey, don't do this. Let me take this down.
Get that out of here.
Calm it down, Coach. You got to calm it down, Coach. There's no negative talk this week, man. I'm gonna put it. I'm gonna. Detroit is 27, 258 yards versus the pass. Also read Detroit might be in the running for Hassan Reddick.
See, he's trying to get rid of his players. One of the Eagles players.
Hey, don't send us your disgruntled people.
Right, you know what I'm saying? That's what he's going for.
We are a happy ball club, Coach. Don't send no disgruntled defensive ends our way.
I want to be paid and all
unless
that.
they're good. This happy place.
Are we saying the Eagles are going to pack it in this season already?
Yeah, ask Coach.
If they're willing to trade?
Yeah,
Reddick hasn't played though, right? So I mean, he does nothing for them, I guess.
Yeah, he hasn't been playing. He's been on the bench. So they've been going with other people at defensive end.
Well, the whole NFC East, other than Washington, seems to be not that good this year. That's unusual.
Well, let's see.
500. Oh, he's on the Jets. I'm tripping. Traded. I think they traded him away from one of those green teams.
My bad, Coach. My bad. Reddick hasn't played it down.
But he played. But I think he was an Eagle last though.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Let's talk about the other divisions, because when we can start off with the NFC, would that be the NFC East that we're talking about with the Eagles, Dallas, Redskins, Giants? Mm-hmm. So I want to talk about who has the tougher division outside of the NFC North, because we're going to be biased, but outside of the NFC North, who has the toughest division in football?
I was actually gonna say the East. Honestly, I mean, it's tough because I don't think there's any real. As of right now, it's been kind of a even. I was gonna say either the AFC East or the NFC East.
Well,
but
let's break it down. Okay, Let's go West. NFC West: 49ers, Seattle, Rams, Phoenix. Correct?
Yep.
Okay. That's kind of a type of division. Like you never know.
Seattle's leading it, but they've lost one.
Hold on. Let me read these. Coach says Wash is nasty. No camp. Washington is playing some good football right now. And Pay says, whoa. Reddick doing where? You can't participate in the show, Pay. And you have to, there's no comment. That's the last comment I'm gonna put up for you. Get in here so we can talk. All right.
Use your phone if you have to.
Yeah.
You're the best.
Yeah. Stella's best division, NFC North. Yes, we're going to exclude we're not going to include our own division because we do the NFC North division every Wednesday. So, and we, to avoid biasness, we're just trying to figure out who's the toughest divisions outside of the NFC North.
Right.
So,
and we've already mentioned that the NFC North is the only division where all 4 teams are above 500.
absolutely. Absolutely. So you got the NFC West, you got the NFC South, that's Carolina, Atlanta,
The Saints
Saints,
and Bucks.
and the Bucks. Now that's one of those, that's a very competitive division. Now, record-wise, it may not look as well as we do, but that's a very competitive division outside of Carolina. Let's move over to the AFC. Now, the AFC South, Celis says the AFC South is the second best.
I think
Now,
that's a troll.
It's gotta be. Who's in the AFC South?
The Texans at 4-1, the Colts at 2-3, the Titans at 1-3, and the Jaguars at 1-4.
Okay, Celis, I'm not listening to you anymore today. Coach says I agree. NFC East with the sudden emergence of Wash makes them a three-mirror team to the north. AFC East is weak with San Diego on recess. I think that's the
West.
LA Rams. I think that's the LA Chargers, I believe, not San Diego. On reset, and the Raiders nearing a total reset. AFC South is weak with the Jags down. Miami quarterback issue. I think
well, that's East.
Yeah.
And the Chargers are West.
AFC East would be Buffalo, Miami, Pittsburgh, Baltimore, correct?
No, New England and the Jets.
Okay, say them all.
Which one are we doing? The East?
AFC East is Buffalo, New England, the Jets, and Miami.
Yes.
Why not Baltimore?
Because they're in the north.
With the Steelers and
Steelers. Who's in the AFC?
Browns.
Steelers, Browns. That is
Bungles.
That is so weird.
Which was the best division last year.
Yeah. There's not a dominant division in the AFC or NFC except for
the NFC North.
It's NFC North.
But none of us have played each other. Have these guys been playing each other?
I think they're gonna
maybe onesie twosies, but that's it.
Yeah, they haven't played many games within their own division. Maybe a game or two, but you got to remember we're only 4 or 5 games in.
Yeah, it's early. The best part about the Falcons is they've given up more points. They've given up more points than they've scored, and they're first in their division and above 500. That just looks odd.
And one of those teams that they look really good at times, and then they have a game or two where it's like, okay.
Well, they started out slow, and then Kirk Cousins, had his best game of his life.
Yes.
And
last
week. And it was just, it is what it is. Now, and the Saints started out fast, and then they're all hurt, and they're hurting. They've lost their last 2.
Spencer Rattler is making his debut this week.
Yeah. Let's take a quick break, and we'll get back because I want to talk about Mr. Jaden Daniels for a second. And we got to talk about that guy. I know it's early, but I said before, and I said it on this show in front of everyone, I thought Jaden Daniels would be a better quarterback than Caleb. I thought that. I said he should be number 1. I wasn't trying to be funny or slight Caleb or slight Chicago, but I watched a lot of Jaden Daniels tape. The difference is, for me, Caleb got away with a lot of stuff at the college level. I don't think he'll get away at the NFL level. All that running around in circles and getting away from the pass rush, getting away from a rush, a damn near sack, and throwing downfield darts. And it's like, I don't think he'll be able to do that next level. and then he's behind the offensive line that I just don't trust. So I didn't think he would. Now maybe later on down the line, Caleb would be, doing what Jaden Daniels is doing now. But I always thought Jaden Daniels was a better selection because I saw a quarterback with a strong arm that was a lot more mobile with his eyes downfield all the time, and he's making some plays out there.
Yes, but the one thing I worried about Daniels was he's so small. He's slight of frame, and he would take hits and just collapse like a Looney Tune type character. And I thought at this level, he's going to get himself hurt. But he has been outstanding so far this season, obviously working his way towards Rookie of the Year.
They say he's showing up at 4 a.m. in the morning, watching film, hitting the weights. He's the first one in the building, last one to leave as a rookie. That's an insane workout, and it's an insane work ethic for such a young quarterback. Now, he could have easily been like, okay, I got it. I'm going to stop. I know what I'm doing, but he's still doing the same thing. And I'm glad he's not in our division.
You're right.
We don't have to see him twice. We already got to deal with Sam Darnold and Caleb. We don't need Jaden Daniels in our division.
It could have been JJ McCarthy, but
but look,
next year.
Look, you lose your future or whatever, and you still start off 5-0. And Sam Darnold is playing pretty good.
Yep.
Even when the games he's not playing good, they're winning.
Yep, because of our defense.
Yeah. So, I mean,
in the league.
How many people draft a quarterback first round, he gets injured, and the quarterback that's not deemed as your franchise steps up and plays as well? It's just that usually doesn't happen.
5-0. I don't think it's ever happened.
Yeah, it does not happen. Just doesn't. So Minnesota has a bye week, right?
Correct.
And who do you have after that?
We play after that in week 7, the Detroit Lions.
Is that here?
Nope. It's in Minnesota, I believe.
Okay. We got to do a joint show. Maybe we can do a joint, or we can join your show, or I can join your show.
Yep. It's at home at US Bank Stadium. And guess who's returning for that game? TJ Hawkinson will be playing.
That's crazy.
That is beautiful.
He practiced prior to this last game. He was taken off IR. He's in the 3-week window. And most likely he will insist that he plays. Now we have the next week, it's on Thursday. So they may wait till that Thursday, but I suspect he's going to want to get back on the field against Detroit in week 7. Right. And hopefully Aaron Jones is fine by then. His hip will have healed and will be 100%.
Right. Coach says Sam Darnold is Carson Wentz 2.0 right now. Minnesota defense has improved leaps and bounds too. He also says Carson injured and replaced with Nick Foles. Yes, I do remember that. The Eagles team. We're not talking about Eagles no more.
Foles beat the Vikings in the playoffs. I remember that well.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that was Super Bowl year, right? For Philly, right?
Yeah, because we were supposed to win and play in our house.
Yeah. That was that the year that
2017.
Stephon got the
Miracle in Minneapolis.
Versus the Saints, right?
Mm-hmm.
Long touchdown, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, that was the emergence of Stephon Diggs. I remember that.
Oh, he emerged before that, but that's nationally when he emerged.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. He's always a good wide receiver. I'm just talking about like from a national stage point. He was him at that point. Like So
Yep.
yeah. And who do you play for now? Houston?
Houston.
Texans? That's a good spot for him, I guess.
It is. Yeah, he talked his way out of, well, we like to say he talked his way out of Minnesota. He said he left Minnesota as a revenge sort of deal because he raised so much stink that they stuck him in Buffalo thinking it would be purgatory, and it turned out not to be a purgatory. But then he talked his way out of Buffalo and is now with Houston. And he's an older wide receiver that is mentoring the younger guys. He did well. He did well against us a couple games ago when we played him.
Yeah, it was a blowout, though.
Oh, hey.
They lost
He
pretty bad.
had like 90 some odd yards.
Did he?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Okay. So
But yeah, it was a blowout. We blew him out 34 to something.
It was bad. It was bad. They looked very lost on offense. And
they've won all their other games.
Yeah.
I believe.
Yeah.
Pretty sure.
Yeah, that's their only loss.
Uh-huh.
Well, that about wraps it up for the day. I know Foster is chomping at the bit to get to his Tiger stuff. I'm gonna watch Tigers game as well.
We're not gonna talk about Arizona going to Green Bay.
I mean, if we must.
It's at the noon game, 1 o'clock Eastern. That's it. Hopefully Arizona will win, but they're not favored.
That's, it's interesting to watch your team, your rivals in your division play the team that you played. I think I find that very interesting, just to see how well they matched up. So I'm wondering how. Yeah, I'm going to watch that game or keep an eye on that game. I want to see what's going on with that.
Well, I'm going to start at 8:30 with Jags at Chicago and London, and then noon I'll switch to watch Arizona at Green Bay, and then Detroit at Dallas in the afternoon slot.
That's going to be a goodie.
Mm-hmm.
That's going to be a good. Foster, where are you watching the game at?
Stress-free.
The game's on Sunday.
On Sunday, where are you watching the lines at?
Probably at the crib, right here.
Oh, okay. You got any last words before we get out of here, Dave? Tell them people where they can. You had a show yesterday, right?
Yes, we did. We talked about a fantasy-ish trade deadline trade if the New York Giants would give up Dexter Lawrence. Would the Vikings trade for him? It's an interesting show. We had a great viewer count. It was awesome. I don't think it'll happen because I think the Giants say he and Neighbors are going to be the two people they build on. So
good.
But it would be great to have probably the second best nose tackle in the league on the team.
You don't need him. No. You don't need him, man.
The whole idea was at the trade deadline, since we seem to be opening our Super Bowl window early, do you take advantage of it and go for somebody that puts you over the hump to get you there? Was the whole premise of the show.
Why not?
Yeah, that's the question.
I mean, you don't sell the farm, but if you can acquire somebody with a draft pick that might take you to the next level, yeah, for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Nowadays, they're giving up, like they're taking third and second rounders or fourth rounders for disgruntled players that can play still.
Mm-hmm.
So.
And because everybody thought 2025 and 2026 were going to be the window when the window opened for the Vikes. But hey, 5-0 start, everything looks great. But let's open it now. Take advantage of what's happening now.
Definitely looking up First and Skol on YouTube, correct?
On YouTube, on your favorite podcast aggregator, over at Fans First Sports Network, our partners in crime. We write over there. We also podcast with them, and Facebook if you're into Facebook as well. And you can find us on Twitter as well.
Okay. And you can catch Bleachers to Speakers. Subscribe to Bleachers to Speakers on YouTube. I don't know where my stuff is today. There we go. Subscribe to Bleachers to Speakers on YouTube. And for your audio fix, any of the podcast aggregators, Bleachers to Speakers FFFN in your search. Follow us. Make sure you hit that notification bell so when we drop content, you'll get an alert. Download those episodes for us, fellas. I hate to call it it's not a short show. We went 50 minutes. There was no pay. So the bright side, the bright side, we didn't have to hear that stupid the Bears chant, So hey, it's all good. It's all good. Foster, you're gonna take care of the are you going live after the game, after the win?
So yeah, you definitely want to tune in after the game. The last two shows have been rocking. Obviously, they were big victories that had a lot of excitement, and we shut them out the last 2 days. It's been two back-to-back 3-0 games, and the energy has been crazy. So you definitely want to tune into that. But
do you have a starter? Who's starting tonight?
Reese Olson is starting tonight. He's one of our few routine. I mean, he's coming back off injury, but he's one of our few routine starting pitchers that are going to hopefully go a regular 5-6 innings, as opposed to the wild and crazy openers. I think they called the bullpen of chaos or something about chaos, where it's literally you just have no idea who's going to be pitching next. It could be
as long as it's not Skol tonight.
No. It's not going to be Skol tonight. You won't see Skol at all. Hopefully we can handle business tonight. We ain't got to worry about game 5.
I want Skol available for game 1 in the next season.
That's what we're hoping for. Which obviously means that we win.
That means
tonight.
you win tonight.
Yes, because yes, we want him game 1 of the ALDS against hopefully the Royals, because the Yankees. I mean, bring on whoever, but
talk Foster. Bring on whoever.
Bring on whoever. But there's we definitely got a particular team that we got our eyes on that we would rather see. So, well,
we'll wrap this up. And fellas, I want to thank you for being here. It was another dope show, another doper edition. We have to we'll convey another conversation on Wednesday, and I don't know whose turn it is to host. Dave, you're after me.
Should be mine. Yeah.
You get a kickback week. You just, you get a bye week. You just sit back and watch us talk crazy. So that's one thing about a bye week. It's like, I'm gonna let you guys talk, So All right. You have a great evening. Thanks for those who tuned in and took the time to check us out, man. Make sure you subscribe to all our channels. Thanks for your support. Download those episodes when you check them out on the podcast aggregators. Peace.
Get your lick back. If a nugget owe you something, ain't no chit chat. Better stay up out the way, don't get your shit splat. Stop, let this shit slide and get your lick back. And get your lick back. Get your lick